Part 237. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2361. No way. With his own strength, can he still fight against our entire Tiandao society? Kui Qing, head of the logistics department of Tiandao society, shook her head, seeming very disbelieving. How else can I say that you have long hair but short knowledge? You are not happy to say that you are a vase. For a true combat genius, combat power is nothing at all. If you really let him grow up, just a vase like you, one punch at a time. Zhou Kaiyao, vice president of Tiandao society, continued to yell. You snored. I'm too lazy to talk to a rascal like you. But now that Fang Fan is leading people to collect protection fees for new students, don't the tutors and deans of the school care about it? Will his behavior be hated by the mentors and deans? It stands to reason that those mentors and deans should also be watching the battle, so why don't they come out and take care of it? Kui Qing, head of the logistics department of Tiandao society, frowned, with a curious look on her face. Tube. How do you manage it? Do you take the head tube? He didn't violate the rules of the school. Everything is within the rules. Besides, how can this be called protection fee? The premise of collecting protection fees is persecution. Life is threatened. But this Fang Fan didn't do that at all. It's not impossible if you don't hand in the Star Corps, just stay on the 8th floor of the tower of the academy, and he didn't force you to hand it in. But if you want to enter the 9th floor of the Tower of Learning and have more and better mentor resources, then you will naturally have to bleed. This is fair. After all, they were beaten down because they couldn't do anything against Fang Fan. Now Fang Fan gives them a chance to come up, it's not bad for them not to be grateful. While talking, Zhuo Qiuyao nodded quickly and said, "This is completely considered and referenced from many aspects. What's the matter with the inexplicable feeling of shamelessness and contempt? Can you still count on that? Your brain circuit is really strange. It's impossible for the mentors to think like you." Kui Qing, head of the logistics department of Tiandao society, curled her lips and retorted from the side. You don't have much to say. Anyway, no mentor or dean has come out to ask Fang Fan to stop this kind of action, which shows that this matter has been acquiesced by them. Damn. This kid has made a fortune. So tempting. Hey, ordinary low-level saints have billions of low-grade star cores in their hands, and now this kid has collected more than 20 billion in one go. Zhou Kaiyao, vice president of Tiandao society, licked his lips while talking, so greedy. Why didn't I get to know Fang Fan earlier? It would be great if they came in the same class at the beginning. If the two of them cooperated for a while, they would take off directly. Don't think about it, the Halazi is about to flow out. Sun Han, the president of Tiandao society, rolled his eyes and said angrily. Anyway, the tone has been set, try to win over Fang Fan as much as possible. And basically win over this Fang Fan, those people around him will come to Tiandao society. The girl next to him named Li Yulai, with a 5-star early-stage sanctuary cultivation base, should be the strongest among all the freshmen. And that ghost, the 4-star peak sanctuary realm. Long Tianya, a 4-star high-level sanctuary. Yan 11, 4-star high-level sanctuary. Sun Han, the president of Tiandao society, mentioned a few names that he had heard in detail. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2362. As the president of Tiandao society, Sun Han only pays attention to the elites. Fang Fan is undoubtedly the trump card among the elites. And these people around Fang Fan are also extraordinary. Also, besides these few, there are a few guards with weird costumes around him. These should be his followers. Good guy, they are all 3-star peak sanctuary realm, and they are only one step away from breaking through. At the 4-star sanctuary level, don't underestimate it. As for the others, just watch the recruiting. But the big principle cannot be broken. Only students from the inner government and non-staff students can be recruited. As for students from the outer government, no one will be recruited. Recruiting people to our Tiendeo club is really about using resources to support them. The school's allocation to our Tiendeo society is limited every year. As for the assistance from the major forces to us, there will not be much. So you understand what I mean. Sun Han, the president of Tiendeo Society, glanced around and said indifferently. Of course. We have already understood what the president means. President, don't worry, everything will be done according to your orders, and there will be absolutely no mistakes. This Fang Fan, I will personally recruit, he, I always feel that we should be brothers who vowed to each other in our previous life. Zhou Kaiyao, vice president of Tiendeo Society, nodded in agreement, and while talking, the expression on his face became more and more solemn. The feelings in this aspect still seem to be more real. A pledge of eternal love. I think it's a mess. Kui Qing, the head of the logistics department of Tiendeo Society, sarcastically. Don't interrupt the vase. Zhou Qiuyao waved his hand and said solemnly. Can you stop being so annoying? I'm not a vase. Kui Qing, head of the logistics department of Tiendeo Society, was about to cry. While talking, a mournful expression appeared on her face. This guy is too shameless. Dirty. Despicable. I didn't say you are a vase, why are you so eager to admit it? Zhou Qiuyao shrugged and continued to pass on his shameless demeanor. Kui Qing was stunned for a moment. How could there be such a shameless person? Okay, can you please calm down? My head is about to explode. Sun Han, the president of Tiendeo Society, said with a speechless face. I'll let you take care of the Tiendeo Club's affairs recently, I may have something to do recently. Sun Han, the president of Tiendeo Society, narrowed his eyes, with a heroic look on his face. Obviously, this so-called thing should be a good thing. Are you going to break through? From the 6-star high-level sanctuary to the 6-star peak sanctuary? President, you can do it? I remember it's been less than 100 years since your last breakthrough. Zhou Qiuyao's eyes lit up, and he said in shock. He. Exactly 98 years. It doesn't necessarily make a breakthrough, it's just a little insight. It's nothing to break through a small rank, if you can break through to the 7-star sanctuary before graduation. Sun Han, the president of Tiendeo Society, took a deep breath, his eyes sparkled endlessly, obviously his heart was filled with all kinds of excitement. This is an excellent opportunity. If you can grasp it, you may be able to take advantage of this opportunity to take off. The opportunity is right in front of you, the key now is whether you can control it. 7-star sanctuary. President, you are floating. How can it be so easy to be promoted to such a large rank? In the sanctuary realm, it is easier to break through once you reach the 3-star sanctuary. Breaking through the 3-star sanctuary and entering the 4-star sanctuary is a threshold. Although this threshold is very difficult, it is still okay. But from the 6-star sanctuary to the 7-star sanctuary, there is a big threshold. If you can graduate from the school with the 7-star sanctuary, you will indeed be regarded as a glorious lintel. President, don't put too much psychological pressure on me. If you can't do it, I will support you. When you graduate, pass on the position of president to me, and I will break through the 7-star sanctuary realm in one fell swoop and show off the might of my heavenly Deo society. Zhou Qiuyao patted his chest and said solemnly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2363. Okay. Do not talk. Your mouth is absolutely infuriating. I just took the position of president, and you started thinking about it? Go and recruit new students for the Tiandao Society, I'm leaving first. Sun Han, the president of Tiandao Society, shook his fat body and left in a hurry. Regardless of his fat body, this level of acuity is not comparable to that of ordinary people. In the lobby of the Guangming Society headquarters. This Fang Fan is a bit interesting. Keep an eye on him, and you must take him down. No. I'll go myself. The Supreme Quasi-Sage abused all the 4-star sanctuaries. What an interesting little guy. The tower of the school, the 9th floor. Seeing that the stipulated time is coming. In another half an hour, the tutors of the various colleges will gradually settle in the tower of the school. At this time, everyone was more or less panicked. Those students who were deported to the 8th floor looked at me and I looked at you, and the aggrieved expressions on their faces became more and more. It was too difficult. It is really too difficult. What kind of trouble is this trying to make? Things have progressed up to now, and I don't understand at all. I just watched in a daze, and my head is still buzzing. Everyone was deeply touched, and their eyes also shone with a different kind of light. Brothers, can't make it up, do you want to counterattack and go up? There is only half an hour left, if we don't make it up, we may really stay on the 8th floor. The 8th floor is some second-level tutors of the God of War Academy come here with a small number of first-level instructors, and we will be blind for nothing. Hee, you are too optimistic. It is not certain whether you can stay on the 8th floor. Now the 9th floor is occupied by that Fang Fan, and the 8th floor is already overcrowded. I am afraid there will be 1,000 people now. Are there too many people? According to the regulations of the school, when the time limit is reached, only 500 people can be accommodated in each floor, otherwise, the students on the entire floor will lose the opportunity to choose a tutor and the academy, and maybe you will be assigned directly went to the refining college or even the research college. What do you mean by that? Should we follow suit now? It's not a question of whether we want to fight or not. The key is that the situation is very urgent. Make a decision quickly. Whether we should counterattack or fight among ourselves and clean up the redundant people. We will forget it on the 8th floor. Besides, hey, don't worry about it. Say it. You're talking. It's this time, why are you still playing riddles? If you have anything to say, let's finish it. We can't wait. That's right. Hurry up. This head is buzzing. Actually, what I mean is simple. Let's admit it. If you pay 100 million star cores, you can get a place on the 9th floor. There is no need to fight for it. It seems to be okay. After talking for a long time, let us compromise. This is the way you came up with? Shameless. Despicable. Tell me. Are you Fang Fan's bastard? That's right. We will never give in. I am a member of Zhuiming Pavilion. People in Zhuiming Pavilion will never give in. My Tianlang sword sect will fight to the end. I'm putting my words here today. Even if I don't want this quota, this opportunity, or choose a mentor, I will definitely not bow to that bastard Fang Fan. Oh, you guys are holy and saints, so I'll go by myself. Anyway, there are only about 200 places, and if you go late, they will be gone. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2364. Actually, no one is stupid. It's already this time. Is there still no point in my heart? It is because of that little face that I have always been a little embarrassed, that's all. If you really say this, it is a normal state of mind, which represents a normalized psychological process. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, looked at everything in front of him indifferently, a slight smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The fish are about to take the bait. Now these students on the 8th floor really want to come up, especially for some well-to-do students, 100 million is nothing. As for the counterattack to the 9th floor, they were even more certain in their hearts, and they all knew that was impossible. If you really do this, apart from being hanged and beaten, you will be humiliating yourself, which is meaningless. Now all opportunities are in their own hands. I want to go up. I have a star core. I am willing to pay the star core. Among the crowd on the 8th floor, a plump young man yelled with his face flushed. His name is Zhao Wei, and he comes from the second-class Tianhong Sanctuary. The forces he belongs to are all poor, but his father is rich in the world because he knows how to do business. 100 million is nothing to him. He has long wanted to take the Star Corps up to buy a quota, thinking of finding an awesome mentor, and then just cover him in the future. 100 million or something is just a number. But no one mentioned this matter before, and he was also afraid of being shot in the head. What if he accidentally injured himself? But the situation is different now. The tutors of the various colleges will soon be stationed in the tower of the academy. If he doesn't act, it will really be over. Another point, he considered that there are only more than 200 places left on the 9th floor. If you go late, you will lose everything. Zhao Wei decided to be the first person to eat crabs. When he said these words, Fang Fan smiled. This chubby young man looks so emotional. After Zhao Wei finished speaking, the students on the 8th floor exploded. Grass. Traitor. Traitors are not allowed to go up. He. Block the road. Who dares to move? From now on, anyone who dares to use the Star Corps to buy a quota will be thrown directly from the 8th floor. We will never give in. Damn it. Can you have some backbone? Fight to the end. Catch this traitor and throw it down. Yes. Let him not even stay on the 8th floor. The loudest voices are actually those students who don't have Star Corps. If he really had enough Star Corps on his body, he would have thought about rushing up directly, and he could manage so much. Most of these students who don't have 100 million Star Corps will think like this: anyway, I don't have Star Corps to buy places, and I can't get in, so why should I let other people go up? If you are unlucky, others will follow suit. Most people have such feelings in their hearts, and it can only be said that they are extremely real. Zhao Wei, who wanted to be the first to eat the crab, was held hostage by these people in an instant, and then he pretended to throw it towards the 7th floor. Fang Fan was standing at the entrance of the 9th floor and was waiting for someone to come up. Seeing this scene, he went crazy. What the hell? Cut off labor and management's money. Bai Piao on the side was even more obvious, and had already started to scold right now. Damn it, dare to fight us? The Star Corps was intercepted by them. Fang Fan boy, I can't bear it. It's time to go. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2365. Bai Piao immediately provoked him, with an excited look on his face. Those who didn't know thought he had been wronged so much. Fang Fan didn't bother to say much, and flew straight to the 8th floor. Go away. Dare to catch my benefactor. Who gave you the guts? Fang Fan looked forward, and his eyes were full of murderous intent as he spoke. You can see a few familiar people in front of you. Zhuokio stepping on the snow, the godson of the first-class Light Alliance Temple. Tianlang Sword School Spirit Sword Force Sword Sun Tuguajian. The conflict between them and Fang Fan is the deepest, and they naturally want to make trouble the most at this moment. Fang Fan, you can be the king on the 9th floor, but can you control the affairs of the 8th floor? Zuokyo Taksu, the godson of the first-ranked Light Alliance temple, took a deep breath, and then stepped forward to speak with a displeased expression on his face. He felt that he couldn't be cowardly. If you are cowardly, you will really be slapped in the face. Can this be tolerated? So what? Are you planning to let go of my benefactor? That's the meaning, is that the attitude? Fang Fan shrugged and said with a smile on his face. Zuokyo Taksu, the godson of the first-class temple of the Light Alliance, gritted his teeth bitterly, his eyes flickered with a different kind of expression, and the sense of anger in his heart at this moment was extraordinarily vivid. After all, he was beaten up by Fang Fan before, and it hasn't been long, and there is still a psychological shadow. Godson Zuokyo, don't be cowardly. You are our spiritual leader. We must clean up this Fang Fan. When we were on the 9th floor, there were too many people around him, and it was difficult for us to attack him, but now there are not many people around him. If we rush forward. Duguayajian, a swordsman of the Tianlang Sword Sect's Spirit Sword faction, was talking, his eyes flickered with a different kind of light, and he immediately became excited at this moment. He wants revenge. He had wanted to kill Fang Fan a long time ago. He won't let go of any chance. But if you go directly by yourself, the risk factor is a bit high. So there needs to be a Tai Han Han to go up and test the water first. Duguayajian, the sword son of the Tianlang Sword Sect's Spirit Sword Force, thought this in his heart, and then nodded silently. Master Shenzi, how lofty your status is in our hearts. Before, it was just because of Fang Fan's sneak attack that he was lucky enough to win a game. You are the son of a great saint, can you be persuaded? You have an unparalleled glorious status in our hearts. Duguayajian, the sword son of the Tianlang Sword Sect's Spirit Sword faction, spoke affectionately aside, the more he talked, the more excited he became. Anyway, just say whatever sounds nice. Zuokyo Taksu, the godson of the first-class Light Alliance temple, was a little vain at first, but now that he was so excited by Duguayajian, he was suddenly full of vitality. This is afraid of a hammer. Catch it and do it. Fang Fan. Kneel down. I am telling you to kneel down. Did you hear that? This Son of God represents the gods of light. Zuokyo Taksu, the godson of the first-class temple of the Light Alliance, held his head high and his chest high, with a proud posture. Fang Fan. Another idiot. Fang Fan strode forward, and a big ear scraper slapped him. Snapped. After the resounding slap, Zuokyo Taksu, the godson of the first-class Light Alliance temple, fell directly to the side, and Fang Fan pulled the gold master Zhao Wei back by the way. Thank you, Fang Fan. Boss Fang Fan, this is my 100 million star core, I want to go up, it's too dangerous down there. Zhao Wei took a deep breath and hurriedly followed suit. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2366. Zhao Wei is not stupid, he is very clear that these people have completely regarded himself as a thorn in the flesh, and must get rid of the control of these guys as soon as possible. As long as he reaches the 9th floor, he will not be afraid of anything. When the time comes to find a mentor who is awesome on the 9th floor, the little days in the future will be lost. In Guangming Academy, who can bully him? Zhao Wei's eyeballs rolled, and his plump body trembled. He looked at Fang Fan at the side, feeling envious from the bottom of his heart. Strong is still strong. There is a star core and a hammer for. Just like his father, he is rich in the heavens, but in front of those high-level practitioners, isn't he groveling? It is precisely because of this that he spent a lot of money to let him enter the Guangming Academy to practice, so that he can become a generation of strong men, so that their family can follow suit. But for Zhao Wei, cultivation and so on are too boring, he still sleeps and eats delicious food. This is the thigh, be sure to grab it. From now on in the academy, I will follow this guy. Zhao Wei rolled his eyes, and then thought deeply. Various ideas gathered in his mind, and the feeling at this moment gradually became real. If this is the case, it will gradually become real. Zhao Wei exhaled silently, and the smiles on his face became more and more. This time there is quite a happy touch. Take off is pending. Boss Fang Fan, when we meet for the first time, a little care is not enough to respect. After paying the sum of 100 million low-grade Star Core quota purchase fees, Zhao Wei secretly delivered a storage ring. I'm not that kind of person. The most important thing in business is credit. Do you think I will covet your 3 melons and 2 dates? I see AO. 100 high-grade Star Cores. Worth 10 billion low-grade Star Cores. What the hell are you? Fang Fan's eyeballs are about to go round. Are people so rich now? Before that, his little apprentice Yan 11 casually took out 30 billion yuan, but it was her master's storage ring, so I can understand. What is wrong with this little fat man in front of him? Fang Fan really wanted to be an individual, an upright person, but the amount of 10 billion was a bit tempting. Boss Fang Fan, it's a trivial matter, it's nothing. Hey, you must cover me in the school from now on. There will be filial piety in the future. I just hope that big brother Fang Fan will take me. Otherwise it would be too difficult for me to live in the academy. Boss Fang Fan, you must accept it? If you don't accept it, I will have a bad conscience. Boss Fang Fan. While Zhao Wei was talking, that anxious expression was revealed. Fang Fan let out a mouthful of turbid air, and felt his scalp tingling inexplicably at this moment. Can you stop being so showy? Is Tianxiu not good? This wave after wave, what kind of trouble do you want? Can you be a little more? Why? It is absolutely impossible to accept this according to my principles. You know, a person's bottom line is very important. But I see you are too sincere. If I just reject you like that, I'm afraid you will also feel depressed, and it would be bad if you do something self-harming. I had no choice but to accept it. You know, I'm doing this for your own good. While Fang Fan was talking, he said it very convincingly. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2367. Hypocritical. Bai Biao cursed secretly at the side. Fang Fan glanced over. This guy Bai Biao has become more and more beautiful recently. Look at how people bow to the peer, learn from it. Fang Fan curled his lips, then shrugged and said. There is really no way to compare this person with another. Don't worry, you will be on my boat in the future. You will find out in the future that this 10 billion is an absolute value. Just because you are so bold, I recognize you as a brother. Fang Fan patted Zhao Wei on the shoulder, and said with deep conviction. This star core is too fragrant. Thank you, Fang Fan. No. It's Boss Fang Fan. He. Zhao Wei suddenly laughed heartily, his whole body was shaking when he laughed, looking very simple. Fang Fan secretly sighed in his heart, if only there were more brothers like this. At this time, Zhuoqiu, the first-class son of the Temple of the Light Alliance, who was still dizzy after being slapped, walked over with trembling lips. Fang Fan, you hit me again. Do you put me in your eyes? I am the first-class godson of the Temple of the Alliance of Light. My father is a saint. Boom. Before Zhuoqiu attacks you, the godson of the first-class Light Alliance Temple, had finished speaking, Fang Fan kicked him away, Talking too much nonsense. Now those who want the 9th floor quota, bring 100 million low-grade star cores and come directly. Only 250 places, no. Now there are only 249 places left. First come, first served, no kidding. It depends on your speed now. Don't worry, if anyone dares to stop my benefactor, I will destroy him in minutes. Godson Zuokyu, what do you think? And this Tugujianzi, what do you think? Fang Fan looked at Zuokyu Taxu and Tuguajian, full of threats. Zuokyu Taxu, the son of the first-class god of the Light Alliance Temple, wanted to refute something, but when he saw Fang Fan's eyes, he was instantly scared. He has revealed his identity more than once, but in exchange for being beaten again and again, he is too difficult. As for Tuguajian, the sword son of the Tianlang sword sect's spirit sword faction, he was already completely smiling. It is definitely impossible to fight, so naturally I can only follow suit. What did your excellency Fang Fan say? I didn't mean that at all. Just now was just an accident. This is 100 million star cores, and I hope that your excellency Fang Fan will not forget the villain's mistakes and give me a chance. Tuguajian, the sword son of the Tianlang sword sect's spirit sword faction, nodded and bowed while talking, and then handed over a storage ring. The 100 million low-grade star cores have long been prepared. Tuguajian. You are shameless. You didn't say that just now. Zuokyu Taxu, the godson of the first-class Light Alliance Temple, blushed for a while. If he still doesn't know that he has been tricked, then he is really stupid. This trick is so humming deep. This step-by-step led him into the ditch. Shamelessly obscene. Godson Zuokyu, don't slander me. I have always admired His Excellency Fangfan very much. Some things are hard to say. If you also want to enter the 9th floor, quickly take out 100 million star cores. If you don't have enough star cores, I can fill you up. Tuguajian, the sword son of the Tianlang sword sect's spirit sword force, is now completely skinless and shameless. In his opinion, those who know the current affairs are heroes. Everything else doesn't matter. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2368. Mean. Little man. Count me blind. Zuokyu Taxu, the godson of the first-class Light Alliance Temple, trembled his lips, and his eyes were about to pop out. At this moment, the violent feeling in his heart suddenly broke out, and he wanted to swallow Tuguajian directly. But how arrogant you say it is, how humble it is in reality. Just like in front of him, he leaned over like a pug, that begging gesture was too real. This wave after wave, the feeling is extremely strong. You lied to me just now, so you pay the star core for the 100 million to buy the 9th tier quota. Zuokyu Taxu, the godson of the first-class Light Alliance Temple, waved his hand, staring directly at Tuguajian, the sword son of the spirit sword faction of the Tianlang sword sect, and said, 100 million low-grade star cores are actually nothing to the existence of Zuokyu Taxu. After all, there is still a demigod father there. It's just that at the beginning, I felt a little embarrassed. After all, he is used to being superior, so how difficult is it to make him bow his head? Let him beg for mercy? There is absolutely no such possibility. Hidden in this brain is the sense of tyranny and excitement. It can only be said that this is the most authentic expression of emotion. Fang Fan stood aside indifferently, watching Bai Piao busy collecting star cores. It was also a very pleasant enjoyment. 250 places, sold for 25 billion. This kind of business is so cool. In the beginning, all the students were unwilling to spend the star core to buy the 9th tier quota because of face reasons. They always felt a little bit stupid. But as the situation gradually changed, the 250 quota seemed to have become a favorite. Leave one for me. Boss Fang Fan, I, I, I came first. Grass. Don't grab it. Let's go to the Ghost Fire sect first. You're a hammer, and you still jump in line? Get out of here. Don't babble. Hee hee. Float again? I'll see if another one floats. Believe it or not, I'll destroy you in minutes. Pretentious. Keep pretending. Keep going. Why are you cowardly? Just go up and do it. What are you afraid of? What is there to be afraid of? If something happens, I will take care of it for you. Bosses, leave me a spot, I'm willing to pay double the price. The scene once seemed extremely hot. Fang Fan let out a long breath, comfortable. 25 billion star cores, isn't it delicious? It's so fragrant. Fang Fan boy, hee hee hee. 25 billion star cores for you. Damn, it's too hot. The rules of this school are too strict. If only 1,000 students could be accommodated on the 9th floor, it would be a lot of money. I won't divide the star core, you can divide it? I didn't make any contribution, I just helped you run errands or something. You share yours, don't worry about me. Bai Biao waved his hand, smiling until his eyes narrowed, and at the moment he seemed extraordinarily generous. Brother Bai Biao, you are such a person who doesn't love money. Before you showed that attitude, I thought. Hey, brother Bai Biao, I'm really sorry. It was me who was so blind that I almost misread the true God. Gui Sha was in awe, and while talking, he looked at Bai Biao differently. It's all small things. As long as you are happy. Gentlemen love fortune, in a proper way. Although I, Bai Biao, like Star Core, I have to say something, you work harder, and I give you my share, as it should be. I, Bai Biao, have no other skills, but I still know the right word. Bai Biao patted his chest, and while talking, the expression on his face became more and more solemn and excited. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2369. Fang Fan just looked at this guy like this, and at the moment he seemed a bit confused. What the hell, can you still show some face? Where did this face go? It's really shameless, it's really too shameless. Fang Fan really wants to look at Bai Biao with admiration now. This guy still has a set of clothes. Tell me, how much have you been greedy for? Hand over 80% and keep the remaining 20% by yourself. Although I confiscated the star core just now, I still don't know about your little trick. A lot of places were sold at high prices in the last wave, right? This wave of blood sucking is okay. Fang Fan glanced at Bai Biao and exposed him directly. In fact, Fang Fan asked Bai Biao to collect the star core at the beginning, more or less he had some meaning in this regard. Fang Fan knows this guy too well, and now he is more and more greedy for money, and he doesn't know if it is a bad habit he learned from Annie, the colorful little female dragon. Anyway, now he sees that Star Core's eyeballs are all red. Cough. Fang Fan, don't talk nonsense, I, Bai Biao, am not this kind of person. My Bai Biao's character is unknown to others, how can you not know? How can there be justice in all aspects of this? I can do it in vain. What I hate the most in my life is that kind of greedy bastard. I'm floating in vain. Hurry up, how many billion? How about I do a body search? Fang Fan curled his lips and stopped talking directly. 33. Bai Biao lowered her head, her expression was a bit weird. 3 billion. Brother Bai Biao, hiss, you are too powerful in making money. I really didn't see anything just now. You are really fast enough. Brother Bai Biao, you are really not a mortal. Gui Sha was stunned immediately, nodded excitedly, and said, 3 billion. Gisha exhaled a breath of foul air, and shook his old bottom out. He also wanted to go for a wave, but he really couldn't do it. Fang Fan's gaze was fixed on him all the time. That gaze was really too poisonous. Bai Biao's little thought was completely exposed. Bai Biao was deeply moved, and shook his head casually and helplessly. What a humming headache. 3 billion. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows. He was shocked. Originally he thought it would be good if Bai Biao could fool 18 billion low-grade star cores, but he didn't expect to be so greedy. 250 places, the normal price is 100 million a place, that is 25 billion, now the 25 billion has been handed in, but Bai Biao still has 30 billion hidden here. How powerful! Talented people come out from generation to generation, each leading the way for hundreds of years. At this moment, Fang Fan can only feel so emotional. Strong enough to burst. It's so awesome, hang and beat everyone who refuses to accept it. Strong to the extreme. This is the thinking of the strong. Brother Bai Biao. You will be my idol from now on. Powerful. I see AO. Gisha's lips trembled, and he was stunned. Brother Bai Biao, you are so beautiful. Gisha sighed sincerely in his heart. Other people around also used behavior and words to express the shock in their hearts. It's useless to say anything now, everything is factual. Crushing all dissatisfaction, who dares to babble? This is the posture and thinking of the strong. Everyone looked at each other and were inexplicably shocked. Needless to say, this alone was enough to overwhelm the crowd. After all, you work so hard to get it. You take 20% of the 30 billion, take 6 billion, and confiscate the remaining 24 billion. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2370. While talking, Fang Fan patted Bai Biao's shoulder and said, this is also a talent. If Bai Biao were in power, he would definitely be the most greedy. It's really ruthless to start. This kind of talent can actually be regarded as a geek. If this kind of geek is used properly, it is actually very strong. It depends on how to feel it in all aspects. Fang Fan boy, you are too dark. I remember, I will never partner with you next time. It's too difficult for me. Hey, my little treasury just filled up, and then it collapsed. While Bai Biao was talking, he immediately complained at the side. While yelling, his eyeballs rolled violently, his expression and gesture gave off a feeling. Don't worry, follow me, there are many opportunities like this. In the future, we will still divide it like this, and will always leave 20% for you. Fang Fan smiled slightly. It would be too wasteful not to use such a great talent. Add the 24 billion, and the total is 49 billion. According to the previous agreement, these star cores are to be divided according to human heads. About 200 million star cores per person. Brother Gisha, there are almost 70 people belonging to your fallen sanctuary, that's 14 billion, I'm not mistaken. While Fang Fan was talking, he was about to start dividing up the loot. Brother Fang Fan, you are too polite. I am a soy saucer. The reason why I was able to clear the 9th floor is basically the credit of your subordinates. I deserve it. If you really want to give it, just give it 4 billion. If it's more, I'm too embarrassed to accept it. You embarrass me like this. Gui Sha gave a wry smile, and hurriedly declined. Brother Gisha, you deserve this, take it if you want. Fang Fan shrugged and said casually that he didn't care about these things. After several refusals, Guisha was still very embarrassed. Fang Fan's scalp also felt numb for a while. People don't even want the star core now. Is this even a resignation? At this moment, Bai Biao, who was on the side, had long been envious. Then he said, "Don't refuse. If no one wants the star core, just give it to me, I will remember your kindness." While talking, Bai Biao nodded and said, with a solemn and excited expression on his face. Everyone rolled their eyes and let him experience it for himself. "Brother Fang Fan, your kindness is hard to turn down, but I do have a psychological burden. How about this? I'll round it up, I'll charge 10 billion, this is enough. We really didn't help much. To put it bluntly, it's better to stand in line and eat wave meat with brother Fang Fan, otherwise we might have to spend star cores to buy places," Gui Sha said firmly on the side. Fang Fan had no choice but to do so, and finally gave Gisha 10 billion low-grade star cores. Fang Fan's gaze continued to turn, and he saw Yan 11 and Lang Tianya at the side, both of whom were members of the Tianlang sword sect's Tianjian faction, and there were about 50 people around them. "Master, this point of star core should be regarded as the disciple's filial piety to you. Just teach me some superb sword skills in the future." Yan 11 stepped forward and said firmly. Fang Fan felt dizzy for a while. When it comes to swordsmanship, he is embarrassed. He used to brag a little too much. He knows superb swordsmanship with a hammer. He used to claim to be the sword god of Tongtian, which was completely bragging. At that time, the situation forced him to say so in order to protect himself.